All right, good morning, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and welcome to the 2012 NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race Weekend here at Charlotte. And appreciate everybody's attendance. We've got a busy day planned with a bunch of drivers doing media. And then we've got the Camping World Truck Series event here this evening. So leading us off is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drives the number 88 Dale Jr. Foundation National Guard Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Dale, you've won this all-star event before. I believe it was your first try at it. Went to victory lane, and I'm sure you'd like to get back there again.
Yeah, this is a great weekend. A lot of fun. And, you know, it's just an awesome race. It's got a lot of great stories and a lot of history, and we'd like to, you know, be a part of that this weekend and win the race. So we're gonna work really hard. Look forward to getting in the car and see what kind of speed we got, what kind of race car we got, and working on trying to win our little races tomorrow afternoon to try to make it in without the fan vote. We'd like to, you know, get in and allow someone else to have the fan vote. And so we're just going to work hard and see what happens. But it is a fun race. It's a fun weekend, really kind of relaxing and exciting for, I think, everybody involved, drivers and the fans. And hopefully it's a successful weekend for the sport.
All right, we'll take some questions now. If you could, limit yourself to one question. We'll start with Mike. We'll go to Jeff and then to Viv.
Mike Hembry, Speed.com. Dale, I think everybody's pretty much assuming you're going to be in the race one way or the other. What do you think of the new format, and what kind of strategy or planning can you do the way things are set up now?
Well, the format's always changing every year. This year there's half dozen or so 20-lap segments leading up to the 10-lap segment, the one that really matters. You know, I don't really think it seems to matter how you stack it up. You know, the race really comes down to the last segment, who's competitive and who's ready to win the race then, who's got the car and the drive to do it. So I really, you know, there's a lot of different things, a lot of variables in play throughout those several, you know, however many 20-lap segments there are. As far as whether you'll take tires, not take tires, stuff like that. Trying to win one of those segments so you can be able to have a better starting position for the last 10-lap segment. I think that the most popular question in the grandstands will be, which 20-lap segment is this? Is this the third, the fourth? But it should be fun. I like the shorter segments, definitely. But, you know, I think that definitely lends itself to more action. The fans like to see the cars together, like to see them close. And they tend to get spread out. And when the segments are short, you know you don't have to wait long before they'll be close again. So I think that's a good way to go.
We'll go Jeff, Viv, and then Dustin.
Jeff Owen, Sporting News. Dale, can you talk about your win here in 2000 in this race? You had won that year, I guess, at Texas and Richmond, but was that one perhaps the biggest surprise for you? And what did it mean to you at the time?
To win the All-Star race? You know, yeah, but definitely. We just were excited to be in the race. As soon as I remember when we won at Texas, that's what we talked about in Victory Lane, probably more than anything, was that we were in the All-Star event. We hadn't even considered ourselves, you know, that fortunate as a team, and we were sort of rising up through the ranks so quickly. And then, so when we got to the All-Star race itself, we were just enjoying the whole experience, being able to compete against the upper, echelon teams in the qualifying, and just being out there on the track with that group, that was kind of, that puts you in another tier, and gained us a lot of confidence, a lot of respect, and we were just happy to be a part of that. I personally, I know Tony Sr. and Tony Jr. were thinking about winning the race from the as soon as the gates opened, but I really didn't imagine that being a reality until that last segment when I think we started off a couple laps and the car wasn't going to get it done, and we made a choice to come and get tires, and then it took off. So, it was a wild evening and just storybook for me. One of the great memories for me.
Let's go Viv, Dustin, Marty. Go ahead, Viv.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. A little off subject, but Darrell Wallace Jr. is going to make his debut in Iowa as a nationwide owner. Are those diversity guys on your radar? And what's the roadblock to those guys getting a shot? Is it teams committing or sponsors committing to them?
The roadblock for anyone getting a shot is just being able to showcase their talent, being able to show they're fast and show they're able to win races. I don't think it matters who you are, where you're from. If you're fast and can win races and have any kind of hint of that ability, you're gonna get interest. You're gonna have people tuning in to you. I don't get the opportunity to really see a lot of the K&N races. I don't even know if they're televised, to be honest with you. I assume they might be, but just don't get a lot of opportunities to see those races. I see, a handful of truck races, see a lot of nationwide races. Beyond that, lower than that, I don't get a chance to really, as an owner, get my eyes on these guys and see what kind of talent they really have and see them race. We get to go to, I think they come to Dover with us, and we get an opportunity to see them there. And at Richmond, if you're there early enough in the week, you'll see them at Richmond. But it'd be great if they could bring them to a few more races with us, and we could actually get a chance to see them in person. And any guy in that field, that comes out and does great, you're going to want to keep your eye on them. Blaney's kid would be an example of how he's done well in that series. I don't get a chance to see him running the K&N, but you hear about him doing well, and then he comes in and does what he did at Richmond. And so he's got some interest. I think Darrell's done the same thing just by the success he's had and his name being mentioned in the circles. But it'd be great to see him race more often, to be able to personally see him race.
Let's go Dustin, Marty, and then Reed. Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, USA Today. Dale, there's a bill that just passed the Appropriations Committee in the House that includes an amendment to ban military spending for sports sponsorships for pro sports, obviously including NASCAR. Obviously, it still has a ways to go in the process, but it's gotten further along than what it did last year. As somebody who represents a military brand, what would you tell those in Congress that they should be looking at or thinking about as opposed to bottom line issues?
Oh, well, that's a tough question. I think that, the Republican from Georgia that is heading the bill hasn't even been to a NASCAR race. At least it states that in the article today, which I would encourage them to do more homework, get more facts, understand the situation a little better. But I know that just talking to the guard, and we've went through this before, and talking to the guard, they can't express to me enough about how much this program helps their recruiting. They're committed to the belief that it has a profound effect on their recruiting and their ability to recruit. And I think it's great it's important for them to be visible and to push their brand and to work on their brand, give people the opportunity to know more about how to get involved in the military. And I think their NASCAR sponsorship is a great way to reach a lot of people. And we're one of the biggest sports. We got more people attending races, and and attending our sport than a lot of other avenues that they could be going. And I think that it's good and healthy for them to be here, and I think it works for them, or they wouldn't be a part of it. Obviously, I'd like them to. Yeah, just because he's a Republican from Georgia, he ought to have seen a NASCAR race by now. Just, you know, he could come along and see how he could visit with the guard, talk with the guard, and talk with the people that are at the particular races, and see what that experience is like for them. See how the guard uses and utilizes their program and their marketing within the sport. I mean, if he hasn't been to a race, he's not seen it firsthand, and then he can make his decision.
Let's go Marty, Reed, and then let's go to Alan. Marty?
Marty Smith, ESPN. Dale, given the format of this thing, the no points, $1 million on the line to the winner, it's conducive to fireworks, it seems, throughout history. How far are you willing to push it to win the thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as far as you can push it. I mean, I think anything pretty much goes in this race. If you can get to a guy's bumper on the last lap, he's gonna be in trouble. So I think with the amount of money on the line, how big this race is, if you get turned around on the last lap for the win, I don't think you can hold too much of a grudge. I think that there's a bit of there's a bit of a code when it comes to particular races such as this, that no matter how dirty it gets at the end, you kind of got to let it go. And there's just too much at stake, and it's just a lot of money. So you've seen things happen before, and it's tough to take, I'm sure. I've never been on that end of it, where such as Darrell getting spun out by Rusty, or the what went on between my old man roughing up Bill and all them guys in that '87 race. That kind of stuff just is going to be a part of it. If you're close enough to the guy at the end of the race, that's going to be what's going to happen. So it's not going to be in another event, where there's points on the line and the money's not as big, and you got to go to the next race where points are on the line and the guy could retaliate or get you back, or you got to race these people the rest. I think this race gets a bye, when it comes to your feelings and getting your feelings hurt.